Oh boy. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Where's my water? All right. Let's get our water. What's up, y'all? What's good? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are here. Hey, so like Sylvia. Hello, everyone. We have so much to talk about in so little time. So I want to get started. I know I was a couple minutes late, but I ain't gonna tarry. We shall not tarry. Because I want to get as much in as I can in the allotted time. Because we have so little time today. So I want to get as much in as I can. But good morning. Hello, everybody. As you all gather and come in, Shondo's around the building, Shondo's around the room. Hey, Miss Witt. Mm, mm. We are going to discuss that. Um, yeah, we got some things to discuss. A lot of topics today. A lot of topics today that I want to tackle. Some serious, some a little more fun um, than others, but we will tackle them nonetheless. Hey, MBN. Hey, everybody. Let me put Shondo in my own chat as I All right, so um, yeah, let's get right down to it. So I want to start by saying happy holidays, everybody. Whatever respective holidays you celebrate, Hanukkah, or as me and my best friend call it, Chanukah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, um, New Year's, or my birthday. Shout out to all of my Capricorns. Capricorn season starts on Tuesday, I believe. So shout out to all my fellow Capricorns out there. And yeah, all of that good stuff. So mm, let's get right down to it. So let's start with a serious story. So while we're talking about all this COVID response, COVID relief, and everything else that's going on, COVID vaccines, so forth and so on, because I do not want the people to say I did not tell them that I was live. Um, um, what was I about to say? See, now I done lost my whole train of thought playing around, trying to send stupid text messages to people. Um, there is a population that we have not even began to address. Hey, Miguel, with regard to COVID. And when I saw the some of the numbers, it was alarming. So we have not addressed the prison population. So there were some numbers that were put out by the AMA, American Medical Association, and some other the CDC has confirmed these numbers and so forth. Um, right now, one in every five state and federal prisoners um in these yet to be United States has tested positive for COVID. One in five. That is like I think four or five times the rate of the rest of the population here. Hey, quintessential, that is an alarming statistic, seeing as how we know the large majority of the population in prisons right now are African Americans disproportionately. And we also know that African Americans are um, uh, a segment of the population that COVID has affected much more widely and has had more health implications, and there have been more deaths with regard to our race and our community when it comes to COVID. We have been disproportionately affected by COVID when we show symptoms and or get the disease is the virus itself. So, and I said that because you're not hearing about this, and conveniently, that's because prisons are overrun with Black people. So that's a way for them to get rid of us. To get rid of. Let's just be clear. I call it the genocide of the Black American. That is a mechanism. Hey, really be. Hey, quintessential. By which, hey, Monk Chip. Hey, by which the um Black people can be affected, killed off, and so forth, and nobody says anything. It goes unspoken of. And frankly, people can pretty much say, well, that's what they get. If they wouldn't have did the crime, they wouldn't have this problem. When we know there's a good percentage of people in prison right now wrongfully put in prisons. Okay. Um when I started to look at the numbers, they said that current data shows roughly around 275,000 prisoners have been infected by the virus, and more than 1,700 have died. And just like the numbers are growing astronomically and exponentially within the American populace at large, it's doing the same thing in prisons, which is scary because people are only thinking about the prisoners, but you got to think there's a lot of people who work in prisons. Bridge Troll has entered the building. Oh Lord, hey Jason. Um, you have all of those people who work corrections. You have to think these prisoners have lawyers when they go to court, there's the jury, there are courtrooms now that still allow based on the size of the room and how many people the capacity of the room, that still allow people in the gallery of some courtrooms. You have the judge, you have the clerk, you have the stenographers, and all of those people, the bailers, all of these people that are involved, hey little baby, in and around um prisoners. So it's just not just say, oh, that's the prisoners, they in jail, that's what they get, da 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 da. But they have contact with a lot of people that are not in prison. They have lot of contact with a lot of people. So it stands, and so there are people going back and forth as to whether or not to offer the vaccine to prisoners because they're in prison. Right, prison staff, nurses, guards, all of those people involved. And many of you all may work in and around prisons or with the penal system, judicial system, and things like that, that has to come in contact with people um, that are in prisons. And if you are working around or working, that's almost like working at the hospital, where the hospital, of course, if you is working directly with people affected by COVID. A large number of people directly affected that have COVID are in hospitals. In the same vein, it's looking like a large number of prisoners in prisons right now have COVID, and they are in closed cells and buildings with no windows and stuff like that in many cases, where a virus like COVID can be spread rapidly. I mean, they do get, however many hours or whatever they get to go out in the yard or whatnot, or go out into the courtyards or whatnot outside a little bit. But let's be clear, they spend the majority of their time in closed areas, which lends itself to the spread of a disease like COVID. It's dangerous. So I just wanted to bring that, and a lot of these first couple stories that I bring to you is gonna be we're gonna touch on it. Just want to bring it to your popular attention and go, and we'll spend some more time on our last three topics. But I wanted to say that because when I saw those numbers, I said, yeah, that's not being talked about a lot, or I haven't seen it talked about a lot. Hey, Abby, and many of us have family members that are in prison. We have family members, or we may work within the prison systems or around prison system and things like that. Um, and there is a certain code of ethics, and there are certain rights that are that even a prisoner, someone convicted of a crime, still has by being a human being in these the yet to be United States of America. So I found that interesting when I saw that, and it made me my eyes go, "Ooh, hey, but Jessica." So, um, hopefully, this starts to get more traction. You start to see and hear about this a lot more often in the news, in the media, and a lot more eyes are on this because, um, yeah, I think it's important. All right, so our next story is this gonna be real fast. Hey Joshua, Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin finally got divorced. Baby, Tisha Campbell left there allegedly, she says, with $7. But Tisha Campbell left there with nothing. Child. She left there with a partridge in a pear tree. That's all she left there with. Child. Basically, it was she says that he stole millions of dollars from her because he was in charge of her finances from all of her movies and her TV shows and stuff like that. And he found a way to, to take all of her money and so forth. So in the final divorce proceedings, all she got was one of the homes that they're leasing and a 2020 BMW that they're leasing. Um, no alimony, no child support, no nothing. No spousal support, no that child. A mess. But sometimes, child, $7, honey. Sometimes, and we've seen a resurgence of Tisha Campbell. We've seen her more often now. So maybe this clean cut, just sometimes you have to, my grandfather had that old statement that he used to say, sometimes if you're treading water in the middle of the ocean, sometimes you have to go beneath the surface in order to stay above the surface. I didn't understand that until I got old. But once I understood it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And sometimes you need just a clean cut. You know what, Tisha Campbell, he gone. This whole situation and experience is gone, and let it go. And now, maybe you can get more acting gigs, more TV shows, movies, and different things. And now you can get the rest of your life and keep all your own money. Okay. Child, let it go. Don't look back and keep it moving. But the judge basically said, I ain't giving you nothing. Nothing. A mess. That's a mess. That's a hit and miss. That was a real hit. I just wanted to discuss that real fast. I don't want to spend that much time. I ain't got that much time today. But I wanted to um talk about that. In other news, um, so this will interest sports fans like me and I really want to know, or different people who are sports junkies like me. If you're a sports junkie, I already know me and my friends are gonna hash it out and have knockdown dragouts about this conversation over this weekend. Randy Moss came out yesterday. He had an interview with it was Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, and they were being interviewed together. So Randy Moss says that both he and Terrell Owens are number one and number two on the list of greatest wide receivers of all time, and Jerry Rice is beneath them. Jerry Rice is maybe three or four. Let me, if you're not a sports junkie, you're looking at me like, child, I don't know who these people are, and I don't even know what you're talking about. But if you're a sports junkie, that's sacrilege. We're not gonna even. I'm listen. Love you down, Randy Moss. I do think Randy Moss is probably one of the most talented wide receivers to ever play the game. But you talk about greatest of all time, it's Jerry Rice. Let's just be clear. Jerry Rice did it during the time when the NFL was run first. Now today's NFL is pass first. Old school NFL where Jerry Rice was playing was run first, where defenses could do whatever they wanted to. A whole mess. I was like, Randy Moss for real? You really want? Child, I was like, no, Randy Moss was great. Terrell Owens were great. I put them in my top five wide receivers of all time. Absolutely. But it's Jerry Rice and then the rest. Okay. Jerry, and he was like, "Oh, you got to talk about not just the statistics, but the impact on the game and how they changed the game." Hello, Jerry Rice changed the wide receiver position. Let's be clear. Hello, he not only holds all the stats, but he also changed the game. He was doing things at the time that people were not able to do, and it wasn't just because he had Joe Montana. Joe Montana was a great quarterback, but let's be clear. While Joe Montana may have made him better, he certainly made Joe Montana better. And you're talking to a lifelong 49er fan. Steve Young would not be Steve Young if Steve Young did not have Jerry Rice. Let's be clear. Ciao. In for most NFL positions, you can go back and forth on greatest of all time. Even with quarterback, some people gonna say Tom Brady, some people gonna say Joe Montana. I'm, Joe Montana, and but you can have the even live greatest linebacker of all time, greatest running back. People have but in terms of wide receivers, it's always been clear: Jerry Rice and everybody else. Child, listen, me and my friends, because I have friends that agree, that have said in some arguments that we have that they feel like Randy Moss is the greatest of all time. And we have knockdown dragouts about this. So let's be clear. Now that Randy Moss has come out of his mouth and said it, oh, please be clear. There is going to be real conversations about the merits of Randy Moss, um, Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice. I don't even know how we got here. How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Child, child, a mess, a mess. Like I say, these first couple conversations gonna be touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. But we're gonna get down to just to um give you all something to laugh at. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all something to laugh at. All right, now I'm not going to show this video because even though I might be able to show it on YouTube, I don't want to take that chance because y'all know YouTube do not see it for me. And I don't feel like having this whole conversation. And I don't feel like having my video shut down or demonetized. But I'm going to put a link in the chat. Y'all go click on that link and get your laugh. Please get your laugh on. Because when I saw that scrolled across my Twitter earlier this week, I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? Y'all stop playing with me. So please go click on that link and get your laugh on. Cause that's what y'all got going on in the great state of Ohio. in the great state of Ohio, y'all got motherfuckers with rollerblades skating butt ass naked down the highway, down the turnpike. Girl, girl. Listen. And he had like a golf club or something in his hand. I was like, what is this golf club? Where was he going? Or where was he coming from? Cause bro got this, he's butt ass naked. He got on these rollerblades. He got on this panda uh helmet or this panda headgear, this panda mascot head wear at a golf club, butt ass naked down the turnpike. And it's getting it too. It is getting it. Please help me understand. It's not right, Miss. I know it's cold. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. Oh boy. I don't. It must have been. Listen, maybe he lost a bet. Maybe it was a dare. But Jessica, I'm with you. It had to be some. That's probably why he has the whole panda helmet on. But he is getting it too. Like, he got some skills on the rollerblade. But even if it was a bet, girl, what was the purpose of the golf club? Like, mm. I was trying to understand, y'all. I was trying to understand. I really was trying to understand. So that is our comic relief for right now to break up some of the monotony because I know y'all needed that laugh. You two hits from watching that child. Anyway, so in the news this week, in news of people of the young and stupid being the young and stupid, okay? Now, Sway Lee. Oh, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Stop. Stop. Oh boy. Stop. All right. Sway Lee was in the news earlier this week, ladies and gentlemen. And he was in the news for all of the wrong reasons. So apparently, here's what happened. Sway Lee had a flight somewhere, okay? Sway Lee, if you don't know, is one of the little young rappers or whatever. He's a part of the little Schmurder, whatever. One of the little rap. I don't pay attention to these little kids. They be doing too much. I can't keep up with all the little these and little that. But anyway, Sway Lee had a flight. He's part of that Ray Schmurder group, isn't he? Um Ray, what, I can't pronounce it, whatever. That's of no consequence. Anyway, so he had a flight in Los Angeles at LAX. During his efforts to get to his to make it to his flight on time, he lost a bag. In that bag, he had his a hard drive, a portable hard drive that had all of his music and stuff on it, and all of his a lot of personal files and all of his music from songs and stuff that he had been working on and stuff like that, and some other personal items in that bag. But of course, of most concept of what he cared about was this hard drive that contained all of his music that and stuff that he had been making. which in his estimation is worth, millions of dollars if you are a rapper. And now let me start by saying, first of all, we are living in 2020. And if things that are that important to you are only saved in one area or just on one, you ain't got a cloud somewhere. You ain't got, a backup to the backup of the backup in the backup somewhere. Anyway, that's just like those people who back in the day used to say, I don't trust banks, so I'm gonna put all my money underneath the mattress. And so if God forbid you go to work and come home and your mattress done burned to the ground and all your money gone now. Anyway, so um he has been somebody found the bag and they're trying to extort him from the for his hard drive. Let me play for y'all the video. um Hold on. Let me play for y'all the video of the guy because he was on live. He was on IG Live, and on his IG Live, somebody requested to come on. The person who came on his IG Live actually had the bag, had the hard drive, and showed him his stuff, and now he's trying to extort him. Let me let y'all see this. Let me make sure. Hold on, y'all. Let me stop it. Let me pause it. Hold on. Let me pause it. Let me go back. So that's Sway Lee at the top. All right. So let me make sure y'all can see it. I'm looking at myself on screen. Okay, y'all can see it. All right. So here is what happened. His face got real serious. He ain't laughing no more. Mm-hmm. Ain't no hold on. Ain't no hold on. He done went into a whole other room. That's the hard drive. Mm-hmm. Oh, now you want to know what's his gram. So, so he created an Instagram account called Sway Lee's Hard Drive. I was like, really? That's what we doing? Child. Now it's 2020. So now the guy tried to disguise his voice or whatnot. And the guy, did the whole voice disguising thing. It's 2020. IP addresses can be easily traced. You can really, but is the are the feds really gonna invest that much time into Sway Lee and his foolala? I don't know. I mean, if he get the right lawyers, I guess he can. Apparently, the guy says he wants at least $150,000 for said hard drive, and stuff like that. At first, because you when he first came on, Sway, he was all laughing and joking like the bruh started breaking out stuff from the bag, and he got real quick, serious, real bad. Like, oh, you for real? Went into a whole nother room, and it looked like he went into the garage and stuff like. I was like, mm-hmm. Gather. He was like, oh, what's your IG? Oh, now you want to know what's my IG, huh? My IG is Sway Lee's hard drive, and then you can go look it up. So there's a whole IG account where dude got on a mask and stuff like that. And it's a whole mess over there. I was like, oh, exactly, Jason. That is grade A trolling. Now that is a troll's troll. You talk about trolling, that's trolling at its best. Child. And he was trolling Sway Lee. You see Sway Lee had like 3,000 people on that IG live watching. You just got punked on your own IG live with 3,000 people watching. Child, a mess. But these kids will never learn, never learn. But the thing about it is, now here's the gag. The gag is even if Sway Lee has um this stuff backed up and everything, technically the person who did it, who has this hard drive, can start just putting stuff out there. Like you can go on the hard drive and say, oh, I'm gonna release this, I'm gonna release that. And once it's in the airwaves and once it's out there, ain't nothing you can do. It's no once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't try to put it back in the toothpaste. It's out there, and that's a lot of money that's gonna be ruined. Child. Because Swaylee's face confirmed that that was the real deal, and so now he probably wants more money. Right, all he's asking for is 150. Child, Swaylee, you're supposed to give him that 150 and going on. Now, what you got to be afraid of is, did that person already take all this stuff from and copy all of this stuff off the hard drive and have it on his own stuff? See, you got to play Billy Badass with him and say, you know what? It is what it is. It's yours. You got it. I don't even have it to do. I could make more songs and more music. I mean, these are the little horrible garbage ass rappers we have right now. A little yin 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 here, yin 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 that, and you got about 45 more albums, I mean records out there right now, because they don't really be rapping about nothing. They don't really have no real music out there right now. I mean, this is Sweaty we're talking about. What are we talking about? Not real rappers. Let's be clear. Child. I mean, we should all reward that young man for making sure that that music doesn't get out there to the atmosphere, because some of us don't want to hear that garbage. That's a whole Child, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, that was another hit and miss. So, before we get to our big stories, um, this story is going to lead us into our Pornhub discussion. So, a Michigan man won a court case where he sued his parents for $30,000 for destroying his porn. Hmm. It sounds a lot more than it actually is. The man, um, the man moved in with his parents after he got divorced, and he had a collection of sex toys and boxes and boxes of porn. I mean, who still keeps porn in boxes? Like, you still carry VHSs and stuff of porn? Like, people still buy VHSs and DVDs of porn? But I guess. Anyway, the judge ruled that it was worth between 25 and $29,000 worth of the sex toys and porn. And the parents felt like, since he was staying with them, they had every right to destroy anything that belonged to him because it was in their house and they could do what they wanted because they were technically his landlords. But the judge ruled there's no case of law to support that. You cannot destroy someone else's property, no matter if you are their landlord or not. That belongs to them, and you have to pay them for that. So they ordered him to pay. They're ordering the parents to pay him back the amount that it costs. for all of the porn and all of the sex toys and stuff like that. I'm here for it. I mean, you can't be listen. Just like Sway Lee was probably real serious about his music, um, and stuff like that, people are serious about their porn. Okay. We're not gonna go down this road, Jada Nerd. We're not going down this road. We are not going down this road, Jaded. Because I'm not gonna have you disrespecting Jerry Rice. Okay. um, so child, he got it in boxes. That's what I'm saying. Miss Wit, child, who still does box, child? Anyway, all my good porn, child, is on a cloud, is in a cloud. Trust and believe. Jason, Jaded is trolling us by trying to talk about Jerry Rice being slow as molasses. He's trolling us. We're not going to entertain him. That was condoms. He pulled out Joshua. I mean, but we've seen Sway Lee's peen has been all over Al Gore's good internet. We've seen what he has to offer. Anyway, which leads to our oh, before we get to Pornhub, I want to talk. I had Kaya in there. So, child. So Kaya, wait, where is it at? Okay, here it is. So Kaya and Saucy Santana has been getting into it with each other, and girl, Kaya, he kind of read you down, girl. He read you down, honey. So I'm gonna show y'all this if I can get it to come up. Come on now. Oh, there it is. Wait, it's been removed. No, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm gonna find a way to make this play, y'all. So what happened was Kaya had basically said, talked about Saucy Santana and said that Saucy Santana had all of these surgeries and that his body was still bad. I mean, he was still bad bodied and you know, and he can't be talking about people if when you look like that. Child, it was hold on, I'm gonna get this to play, y'all. Hold on one second. One sec. I'm gonna get this video to play. Hold on, y'all. Hold your horse. Hold your line. Hold your line. Maybe they took it down. You know what? Damn it. I know y'all did not take this down because it was so good. Anyway, because they had the video of both. They had both videos. They had the Kaya video first with Kaya going in on Saucy Santana, said he's built like a box Chevy and stuff like that and stuff like that, and doing what Kaya does. Now, the problem that a lot of people have with Kaya the fact that Kaya is the fact that when Kaya reads people, Kaya be like reading from cards and stuff, and you can tell that she's reading stuff that she has written down and so forth. So girls who really know how to read, girl, we're not here for it. We are not here for it. Because we don't respect those type of people. We be looking at them like, girl, who are you trying to read, girl? Because you over here reading from note cards and stuff, and we're not here for that. So Saucy Santana came back and read Kaya down and says that she's not a man, she's not a woman, she's a punk. because she's acting like a punk and she's moving like a punk, and he don't deal with. And he kind of read her down. And he said, "Girl, this is straight off the dome. I don't need to be reading from raggedy note cards and stuff like that." They were just basically dragging each other. I'm so mad that I can't find neither one of the videos because it was good drag by both of them. It was a good drag. Um, but child, I can't even find it now. Oh God, I had you know what? Moving on. I'm so mad about it now. I mean, I kind of I appreciate what Saucy Santana had to say because I don't respect Kaya anyway. I don't respect anybody who, when you read me, you got to be reading from no cards. Girl, that's not what reading is about. Reading is fundamental, and when you read, girl, you stand flat foot, 10 toes down, and look a bitch in the eyeballs and say, "Bitch, what?" Fresh off the dome. And he told her at one point, he said, "Girl, you claim to be this artist. You're not a rapper. You're a blogger now, and a failed blogger." At that, he said, "Maybe if you went from the dome and not from note cards, you would be more of a rapper and not a blogger." I was like, "Oh," he did kind of read Kaya down. I was like, "Oh, girl, child." You know, but Joshua, that's what Kaya was saying. Like, girl, you done had all these surgeries, you still built bad body and shit like that. And Saucy was here for it. They were throwing jabs at each other's child. Um, and everything. But I understood both sides, honey. I understood both sides. All right. So let's get to our top three spots. First one is gonna be Pornhub. So if you're not aware, earlier this week, Monday, Pornhub purged its website of 10 million videos. 10 million. Why is this a big deal? People think it's not a big deal, but Pornhub gets more daily traffic than both Amazon and Netflix. There is more traffic on Pornhub than there is on Amazon and Netflix. The problem is Pornhub hasn't been as closely regulated as an Amazon or Netflix, but there is millions of dollars in Pornhub. Pornhub is owned by a company called MindGeek that owns quite a few porn companies. Anyway, some years ago, Pornhub got like 200 plus $1 million in investments from investors. They got investors that were politicians. They got investors that were Ivy League schools like Cornell University. They got investors, appreciate their diamond onyx. They got some heavy hitters that were investors in Pornhub. So this ain't no little bitty small time deal. Um, anyway, Pornhub had an expose done by on them by the New York Times not that long ago. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. And there was this there's a lawsuit right now because there was this girl that said that she was a teenager and she was sexually assaulted. And the video of it was on Pornhub at first. Pornhub took it down, but other people had copies of it and were reposting it on Pornhub. And so because of that, um the girl filed the lawsuit and her parents filed and her, representatives filed a lawsuit. Um So the girl has filed a lawsuit. So as this has gotten more traction, as the expose came out in the New York Times that Pornhub was littered with a lot of rape videos and videos that um girl, I noticed that they focused on the women that were underage and that were raped. They didn't focus on the men at all. It was all the women. Um, but that it was there was a lot of that on Pornhub because Pornhub, like YouTube, like Instagram, like Twitter, like Facebook, and I'm doing this for a reason, relies on content of people who are not verified. Just anybody can go on any of these sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. You can go on these sites and post on there. That's how the site is built. However, this starts a slippery slope. What Pornhub did was said, well, you know what? Because MasterCard said, oh, you got that on your website, Pornhub? You know what? We're cutting off all ties with you. So Visa and MasterCard no longer has any work or anything, any business with Pornhub. So they process no payments. If you have a Visa card or a MasterCard, you cannot process a payment to Pornhub anymore. Everybody has a Visa or MasterCard. Hell, your bank cards, your debit cards are normally a Visa card, um, and things like that. So they're processing no payments to Pornhub anymore. They've severed ties with them. Pornhub, when they took the 10 million videos down, they only allow videos now by either verified users or users who are part of their model program or whatever they got going on over there. So what that means is this: the slippery slope is this. Our other there is a the Communications Decency Act and that Congress passed some years ago. And what that does is that removes there's a section within that law that removes is section 230, but it removes liability from online platforms, and there's liability protections to online platforms for the things that are on their website. So that means that that removes liability from them. Now, this case is still in litigation with Pornhub. If a judge comes back and says, you know what, that Section 230 of that Communications Decency Act does not apply here, that could start a slippery slope, which means that you could see other sites that right now allow anybody to post on their platform to start to say, we're only going to allow verified users to post to our platforms. You all recently saw that it with the what was that, the Stereo app, which just told a lot of the YouTubers that if you're not verified, you don't qualify to get this money. That they were winning money on Stereo. If you had a certain number of subscribers in a certain amount of time, you could win money over there. Stereo shut that down and said if you're not verified on Stereo, you can't do that. Just like Pornhub just did. And what I'm saying is you could start to see, because think about Twitter. Think about all of the stuff that goes on Twitter. And there's everything on Twitter. There's porn, there's child porn, there's all kinds of things on Twitter that should not be on Twitter, but it's there. And Twitter does what it can to police it and remove things as it comes. But once it's out there, like Pornhub tried to do as well. Pornhub, removed the video and then somebody else kept putting it up and putting it up and putting it up. But the point is, it may get to the point where these platforms start to say, if you're not verified, we're not going to allow you to post it. Because if you're verified, that means that they know who you are, they know how to contact you, they have your information, and they have verified that you are who they are. So in the case that something happens, they can say, nope, don't come after us, come after so and so, because we verify who they are, and they're the ones who posted that. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because it does start the slippery slope where you could see other platforms starting to do this. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, that just means that there's, like Lil Baby said, an uptick in OnlyFans and stuff like that, or Freak Twitter and different things like that, or other sites like exavideos.com, xnxx.com, hamster.com. This, I know all of the sites, but Judge Obama, don't judge me, okay? But my point is, beyond the porn aspect of it, it just rung a bell to me because we saw that with the app like the Stereo that you see a lot of people going on. They, decided that their, way of monetizing people will only be for verified users. And based on how the judicial system acts in this case with Pornhub, it could start a slippery slope, and you could start to see, hey, Ashton, a lot more websites getting verified. Saying you have to be verified. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Hey, Ashton. I thought it was funny, but I do think there's going to be an uptick on Pornhub. Not Pornhub, on OnlyFans, child. The kids are gonna be saying, listen, y'all can't find my stuff on. Actually, a lot of the people, well, a lot of the big time OnlyFans people also have verified accounts on Pornhub. So they might still be able to do both, you know. But I'm just saying, get it how you live, honey. Get it how you live. Anyway, all right. So our next topic was hashtag was Divine Nine. Divine Nine. Put a 27 in the chat if you are a member of the Divine Nine. Put a 27 in. I am a member of the Divine Nine. As you all know, I have on my crimson and cream today. Um, Child, you ain't never heard of hamster? Child, go on over to hamster if you want to. I think you gonna see some hamsters. Okay. So I wanted to play this video that I saw earlier. I don't know if it was last week or this week, but I saw it on Instagram. And the conversation that they were having, it sparked a discussion. The conversation that they were having definitely sparked a discussion that I think we might need to delve into a little bit about Divine Nine. Um, and there are a lot of people who are not Divine Nine, but have a lot to say, will have things to say about this respective issue. Shouts out to all of my fellow Divine Nine members out there. But this is a and this is a discussion that we've had before, but in 2020, going into 2021, we'll probably be seeing these discussions, I should say, much more often. So, all right. All right. So that was the discussion. Did y'all hear that? Or because I see some people saying that they couldn't hear. Um, okay, so maybe it was just some of y'all. I will put the link. Let me put the link to the video in the chat. For the people who said that they could not hear it, I thought that everybody could hear it. Some people said they could hear them. Put a 27 if you could not hear them. If you could not hear them, please put a 27 in the chat because I might need to play it again. I might need to play it again. I don't know if you could hear them or not. I'm trying to see what y'all saying. Do I need to play it again? No, y'all not saying nothing. Do I need to play it again? I don't. Y'all not saying nothing now. So I need to play it again. Hold on. Let me try to play it again. It doesn't. I'm gonna play it from my phone because it doesn't matter whether or not you can see the people. It matters whether or not you can hear what the discussion is being had. That's the important part. So let me play it from my phone, and then you can hear it that way. So let's do it that way because it doesn't matter if you can see them. The conversation is what's most important. So let me play it for you so you can hear it, and then we'll go from there.
So do you guys think that trans women should be able to join sororities and trans men should be able to join fraternities? It's spicy. No. Yeah, I thought you're not even in no goddamn sorority. It doesn't matter, but that's no. I feel like it's gonna go crazy. I feel like they will get looked at, but yeah, like she's a woman. Like that's a woman. Can I say something? With that, everything not for everybody. So let certain people have certain shit. Sororities and sororities. No, I feel like you need to start your own. Start your own. Thank you. I feel like have that shit, man. You don't even know how to say it. I feel like. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the people in the LGBT community, they feel entitled to things. And I just feel like you need to. So that's why y'all have people going in there being DL and then be fucking on everybody, like passing around shit on campuses like Morehouse, because they. I know anybody that's they go in being fake straight. Now they passing around to you and your. Anybody that's DL, they DL on their own. They have nothing to do with somebody. Because people feel like they gotta go into sororities and that shit and be like straight. That's them. So I just seen a disabled girl on Twitter that go to Clark's. She not supposed to be in there because she disabled. That's got nothing to do with trans. She's still a woman. Trans and gay people, like she's still a woman. Right here. But that's not. But we can't have. I understand that y'all are taking hormones to be a woman. And I have titties. They look really nice. But you also have a penis. You don't know what I got because I got homegirls that got big fat pussies, and that was born a man. So now what you say about that? What you think about that? You think she's still a man? No, and now when you get the whole thing changed, okay, cool. But no, you're not coming in here in AKA with the penis. No. I'm coming. Oh, I'm a little trans. Y'all just feel like y'all. Sometimes y'all feel like y'all are entitled, and that's no. Everything. We're entitled. This is a woman. I want you to know what? Because let's just say it for the sister. You can't say that. You can't say that. He can join the cute. He can go in there and be a cute. No, but listen, she's a woman.
So that's the whole discussion. That was the whole video. The audio, I should say, of the video. Miss Witt, everybody doesn't know what a GDI is. Put it in the chat for them while I gather my thoughts. Miss Witt or Quintessential, can you put, or anybody who knows what a GDI is, put that in while I gather my thoughts. There's so many parts of that video. Hey, Mr. Judy. That have bothered my spirit this morning, or when I first saw it. Hey, Nappy Child. Like, okay, first, I say this all the time, and I'm gonna say it again. You cannot lump all of those letters together. Hey, J Farm D, you can't lump all of the letters in together and think that they all have the same. They're all the same. It's not. All of the letters of the LGBTQ plus community are not the same. They have different experiences. They have different things, different everything. So you first have to stop this whole thing that the guy, one of the guys was saying, "Oh, so you saying that LGBTQ people cannot be in fraternities or sorority?" No, that is not what they're saying. There are many people that are lesbian, gay, and bisexual that are members of the Divine Nine. Every single one, all nine. Let's be clear. There are lesbians that are part of all four sororities. There are gay men that are part of all five fraternities. There are bisexuals that are a part of all nine. And I'm sure there are people that are identified with the other letters that are a part of the Divine Nine as well. However, you still don't can't lump all of them together because the trans person is not the same as a gay person. A trans man or a trans woman is not there. It could be a trans woman that could be gay or a trans man that could be gay, but that's different. That's two totally different things. Being trans is different from being gay. Now, hey, Nappy Child. God, who is this? Hold on, y'all. Hello. This is he. Sorry about that. But anyway, so here's the thing. There was an incident a couple years back with the Sigmas in, I believe, the DC area, where there was a trans man that went through the process, got initiated, and became a Sigma. And they later found out that it was not a person not born a man, that they were born a woman. I'm not sure whether or not the person still had female parts or anything like that, but I do know that it was someone who was born a woman and ended up being a man, and that was a whole big thing within Phi Beta Sigma, which is a member of the Divine Nine. Now, this is one of those unspoken of, untalked about, one of the things within not just the Divine Nine, but all fraternal organizations. Because I know, being a part of the order, and being a part of the Masonic order, these are things that are talked about as well. And so it's a sticky situation because All of these are private entities, private organizations that have the right and they have the legal right to determine who they want and who they don't want in those organizations. That is one thing. Um, but at the same time, those organizations don't want to be seen as non-inclusive or as if they are discriminatory toward any segment of the population. I'm going to say this, and this is for anybody that wants to be a part of anything. Um Fraternities and fraternal organizations, which include fraternities and sororities, do not fall under all of those auspices of Title 9J farm because they are private entities, and they are their own separate. They actually have, I believe, fraternal organizations. You know how you have 501(c)(3), but there's a 501(c)(1), 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way. There's a whole bunch of 501 um C's. And so anyway, fraternal organizations has their own um part of it as well as the Masonic organization, believe it or not. Anyway, um let me say this because as a member of the Divine Nine, I always like to choose my words appropriately. I first ask the question as of this. This is a social, or these are social fraternities and sororities. They're not academic based, um meaning you do not have to be up within a certain academic field of study to join them. um they are social, meaning that I don't understand, like, for example, if I had voted no in my fraternity and they didn't want me, that's fine. That just means that I just don't need to be there, because the point that I'm making is, if you are someone who is a part of any group, you're trans, you are um a different race, because there's a whole conversation about whether or not white people should be allowed into members of the Divine Nine. That's a whole conversation. We know that they are, but that's a whole conversation as well. Why would you want to be a part of an organization or an entity where the vast majority of the people there don't don't want you there, don't see it for you, where you're going to be ostracized and you're going to be um um it's not you're going to feel like you are not a part of it. This is not the same as saying being having a certain job or being allowed to rent from a certain apartment complex, or having certain human rights kept from you. This is an organization of like-minded people who have fraternal bonds and ties to each other, and said that we want to have our own group and we want to be able to fraternize and do things for our community as we see fit. Everything that a fraternal organization does for its community or does within itself, anybody can do. You and your group of friends can come up with shirts and come up with a name for your group, and y'all can go and have some fun. Y'all can throw social events. Y'all can give to y'all community. Y'all can, and there are a lot of organizations right now that do that. Um, it's like, hey Tiffany, and I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to make it feel like it's not inclusive, but it gets to a gray area when you start to say whether or not to allow people that are trans in, because then you have to decide, where do you draw the line? Are you going to say, okay, you have to be post-op? Are you going to say that you have to be legally the other? sex, like where do you draw the line? Or is it people who are pre-op who could say, I felt this way before, but I'll give you a perfect example. I know someone personally who is a member of the Masonic Order. They got into the Masonic Order, which is a fraternal organization, as a young man in their 20s. Later on in life, they transitioned to a woman. This is years after. They are now a woman, legally, operation and all. Hold on. Hey y'all, this is really B. And she called me. She said she had too much to type, but she has some stuff to say. And that's why I muted her first, but that's her. Go ahead.
No, one of my coworkers, he's white and he's part of a white fraternity, and he's like, he's on the national level, and they had a whole situation last year where they had a transgender man. Once was a woman, now is a man who actually went through the whole pledge process on undergrad level before they found out. And so they had this whole situation, and now they're in the process of actually rewriting their bylaws because the bylaws, however the language was in the bylaws, there was nothing they could do. But they actually spent all last summer rewriting their bylaws so that it doesn't happen again. However, you might, whether people think that's a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm just letting you know that that's something that he dealt with, and he's part of a white fraternity. I don't know the name of it, but he's also a Mason, but he's not Prince Hall, obviously. So me and him have talked about this at work as well. So I just wanted to add that this is happening across the board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a conversation that's being had. And it's going to the drumbeat is going to get louder and louder because, like I said, in
Yeah.
the situation that I'm talking about with someone who was born a man, came into this organization, has all rights and privileges to that organization, no longer is a man. What do
Right.
you do?
Right. And their situation was the opposite. The person was born a woman and went through the whole process. They're officially a member, and they didn't find out until after the person was officially a member
No, no, no,
that they
no,
was not.
no. What I'm saying is really be no. This is different. Where the person, for example, was born a man. He
Right,
pledged as a man into a men's
right,
organization.
right.
Years later, after being in that organization, there was nothing
Now
wrong
has
with him.
transitioned.
Now he's transitioned,
No,
operation
I
and
understand.
all.
I understand it's a different. I understand it's a different situation, but I'm saying the concept was, well, it's not the same concept, but I'm just saying the whole issue. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, and it's not a problem. It's just how you deal with it, because it's just the fact of where we are in our society today. Like, how do you deal with it? You know what I mean?
The other thing
Like,
about
like
it,
how you show up for conclave as a woman, though.
the other thing ab- phew, the other thing about it is this. The other there is onus on the person that is trans that you need to be open and honest about that as well. Like you can't come into a situation. Let me say it like this. If you are pre-op trans and meaning you have not had any surgeries or anything like that, because we don't know if you have any intentions on having the surgery or will have the surgery at all, or you're still legally, still your birth gender. I do think that you should come into a situation forthright and honest with that organization so that they can make whatever decision that they need to make on their own merit based on what it is that you're presenting to them. You can't come to them excluding all of it. I don't know. This is a rough conversation. for people that are in these organizations and people outside of the organizations, just looking
Mm-hmm.
from afar, it is not a comfortable conversation. Because there are in a lot of organizations, there are rituals and rites of passage in those organizations that
I'm
are
very specific to gender.
right, specific just for the gender. And that would make people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I know. Yeah, yeah. Somebody, okay, I'm gonna get off, but somebody asked a good question in your chat. They were saying they were asking about Title IX. Does that apply to fraternities and sororities as far as like on the undergrad level? That's a good question. I'll let you answer it. I'm gonna get off.
well, no, I
Bye.
did answer it. It does
Oh, I
not.
missed it. My bad.
Yeah, it does not. Because fraternities, sororities, even the Masonic order fall into their own separate subsect, even when we're talking about tax purposes and things like that.
Right.
They fall
Right.
into their own groups and stuff like that. They are private entities. They are allowed to say we only want a certain gender and things like that. I'm a part of
Right.
an organization of a fraternity. It's a service fraternity, Alpha Phi Omega, that started off all male and is now co-ed. And they have gone as far as forcing chapters that were at one point all male and told them you have to allow females in,
Mm-hmm.
because that happened in my chapter, you know. But it's rough. And even when you're in these organizations, you have to monitor even how you talk about it or how you discuss it so as not to alienate the organization and so as to speak for yourself as an individual and not for the organization or organizations at large. Um yeah.
All
Oh,
right. Well,
all right.
I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Finish entertaining the people.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. What are y'all's thoughts on this? It's oh. You can show interest that goes for anything. Each organization has its own selection process, so that is it. Right, quintessential. But the problem is when you have people making decisions or going through their selection process without all of the information being privy to them about who they're selecting. You can't have me say, "Oh, I'm gonna choose so and so." And then after I choose you, now you want to unpack, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you dot 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 dot. Because when you join an organization, that's like a marriage. And the reason that I say that is once that organization invests you with all of its secrets, rights, and privileges, you are going to have those, whether or not we kick you out or not. You have all of the secrets. Hey, life is as Diamond Game. We're talking about the Divine Nine and the conversation about whether or not they should allow trans people in. Yeah, it's a lot. Hey, it's me, D. It's a lot. Like I said, you and because these organizations don't fall under Title IX, is there legal precedence for someone who is trans, especially if they're not legally the other sex now. Now, if they're legally, maybe you can have an argument, but if you're someone who's not legally, you are living your life as the opposite sex, but you're not legally um that opposite sex. I don't know if you have legal grounds. You might, I don't know, find the right lawyer in order to sue, but because these organizations don't necessarily fall under Title IX, um, I don't know that you can. That's just like when you had, I forgot how many years ago it was when there were girls that were suing because they could not join the Boy Scouts and they wanted to join the Boy Scouts and they were filing legal, they were having lawsuits about girls wanting to be a part of the Girl Scouts. I mean, the Boy Scouts. And I think it was vice versa too. First of all, that recording that I played notwithstanding, because you had people on that on that recording that sounded like idiots, like the guy that was making the argument about someone in a wheelchair. And then, like I said, you have to throw out the whole argument about gays and or lesbians or bisexual people joining said organizations because that's not it's not the same thing. Nothing to do with the argument about trans people joining. Nothing. If you but see that would I don't know. That would be something that may go as high as the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is not akin, hey, Lastasia, to be making those decisions because if you remember when I think it was Hobby Lobby, was it Hobby Lobby? One of those businesses that wanted to say, I don't want to be able to serve a certain customer or segment of the population because of my religious belief or because I don't like what they're doing. And so what Supreme Court ruled was that that company had the right to say because I can choose not to serve you or I can choose to exclude you from my business because I'm a private entity. I'm not government funded. And so because I am a private business and private entity, I reserve the right to say that I don't want to serve you. I don't want you in here. I don't want you to be a part of what I have going on. The same thing for these organizations that are private entities, private organizations, and they've been deemed to have the right to say that they can be exclusive of parts of the population that they don't want. But that's what I was saying earlier in VN. I there's that situation because what do you do with that person who came in under the right ground? They didn't come in as trying to be trying. They came in as a cisgendered person, meaning born a man and living as a man, identifying as a man, into a fraternity, came in under, voted in under all of the rights and privileges. Years later, they determined that they wanted to or they needed to transition. They transitioned and now they're a woman. Does that organization then have the right to say, okay, you can no longer be a part of our organization? I mean, an organization reserves the right um to suspend or kick anybody out of their org, not just suspend them. They have the right to sever ties with someone and say you're no longer a part of our organization. And it happens. The part that's not as palatable about that is, like I said earlier, that person has all of the secrets of that organization, all of them. What do you do then? You can't take that away from them. You can't wipe that from their memories now, can you? I don't know. J Farm D, I'm going to dance around some things. There's certain things that I'm not going to be able to say on camera. Now we having a conversation privately. I might can go a little further, but um, excuse me. But I don't know what question you're talking about. I danced around. I don't know what question I danced around. I got to get off in about 3 minutes, y'all. I ain't even get to the Real Housewives of Potomac conversation. I didn't know this was. That's a good question. What about non-binary folks? What question? I missed the question. Hold on. Let me go back up. I must have missed the question. I must have missed the question. I don't know. Um, yes, that's true, but I think this is such a long process that the individual has thoughts about what they may want for the future and themselves in the future. I don't see this difference between gay and trans, so I'm a stalemate. Oh, there's a very big difference. Being gay is not the same as being trans, and that is one of the pivotal problems that people have. People think that being gay and trans are synonymous, and it's not. It is not the same thing at all. Not at all. They don't have the same experiences. They don't have the same, a lot of times, the same interest. They are not, it's not the same. It is not the same thing. And the problem, and I've always said that when they lump all of those letters together, everybody wants to make it like, oh, all of these people are the same. The, the same way being gay is not the same as being a lesbian. It's not. Being a gay man is not the same as being a lesbian woman. But certainly being trans is completely different from being gay man or lesbian woman. Completely. Do you think transsexuals should be able to join? Um, do I think personally that they should be able to join? I don't know. I don't. To answer your question, I don't know. It's something that I would really have to sit down, think about. Right now, I'm going to say no. If you're putting me on the spot to answer right now, I'm going to say no. I vote. I'm an active member in many fraternal organizations. If somebody came and I found out, I would vote no. I'm telling you right now, I would vote no. Oh, you are okay? No, my vote is no. That's just where I'm at with it. I'll be very nice. If you want to know how LT27 feels, I'm voting no. Absolutely not. You're not coming in by no stretch of the imagination. And I would be inclined to pass things in the bylaws or constitutions of these organizations that say if you should transition later on in life after you've already joined, that you will be expurgated from the organization. That's where I'm at. Now, if you really want to know my thoughts, that's where I'm at. Like it or leave it. Now, what the organizations are going to do, that's a different story. But me, no, nope, nope, absolutely not. They can create their own organizations or whatnot, but child, listen, I got to get off here, y'all, because I got a Zoom meeting I'm supposed to be on right now. We're going to continue this discussion because I see, and I ain't even got to the Real Housewives of Potomac. Oh God, I tell y'all what, if I get off my Zoom meeting early enough, I might come back because we need to continue this before I go to work. If I get off my Zoom meeting fast enough, I might come back. Look for it, okay? Might not be able to come back long because I still got to go to work, but I might come back. All right, I got to get off, y'all. Y'all, we gonna continue this discussion, but I gotta get off. I gotta go to this Zoom meeting. I'm already a minute late for. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time. Thank y'all for coming. I'll be back. I'm gonna be back. We're going to continue this conversation. But yes, that's all I got for y'all. Shonda's in the chat. Shonda's around. Love y'all. Love on y'all. Thank y'all for being vocal present and active. Thank you for doing what you do. That's all I got for now. We'll be back. We'll discuss some more. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely.